Josh Amberger. It's quite a lot to talk about the swim, eh? Last year I swam a bit quicker than what I did yesterday. I swam 47.0. Yesterday I swam 47.5. The reason why I did that is because I found myself too far in front last year, and in a race like Kona, no one's ever going to win the race off the front for the whole day. That was counterproductive to my end game, which is, podium finish. So I swam a bit slower, and I was able to encourage some athletes in the 48-minute group up to the 47-minute group with me. The reason being you can make a jump like that significantly is because the drafting effect in swimming, same as on a bike. It's massive in the water too. So I led the swim the whole way and kept it comfortable and was quite happy to have some company out of the water, and it was perfect to set up the race for an off the front effort on the bike. I kind of took it upon myself to sit back for a little bit and let the other guys do the work. I guess that's the trade-off in some sense. I'll drag the guys through the water and then they can take control of the first part of the bike. It didn't exactly work perfectly because no one really had the impetus to force the pace at the start, so I was sitting kind of third, fourth wheel, and like soft pedaling at like 200 watts going, what's going on here? Our advantage out of the swim was kind of, in jeopardy almost from the start. And it kind of stayed like that until we got out onto the Queen K, maybe 20 kilometers in, and Andrew Starkowitz came flying past, and it was pretty clear that he was going for it, and I hesitated a little bit, but then made the commitment to attack and chase after him, at which point I was joined by Cam Worth, who'd also ridden through the field, and then we found ourselves 4 guys off the front, and it was a perfect scenario to start the second part of the Queen K heading out towards Harvey. So the transition has been smooth, which is obviously a good thing. You don't want to get on a new bike and have to really worry so much about, this feels different. Overall, it feels like it's a definite upgrade in terms of stiffness, and obviously the disc rotor advantage has lots of benefits for safety and also time trialing really fast, which is great. So it's been a very easy transition, and I'm really happy with it. So I got off the bike third. I rode 10 minutes quicker than I did last year. So seeing those numbers off the bike, I was super confident that I was still well in the race and in contention for perhaps the top 5. Getting off the bike straight away, I could feel that running to get my transition bag that, hey, I feel great, but my run legs don't actually feel so good now. So I've been dealing with a niggle in my ITB here for the better part of 3 months since I'm in Frankfurt, and I've had very minimal running, and I'm the kind of athlete that, unlike my swimming, running is not so natural for me. I need to train it a lot, so I just haven't had the opportunity to do that. So the start of the run was really, really painful, trying to find a good rhythm, and I just kind of had to let the race go down the road and be content with almost just finishing the race. But it got to a point about 10 miles in, as I turned onto the Queen K, that the injury actually came back and the pain was too much to continue. So unfortunately I had to pull the pin. I tried numerous times to sit down. I was with the medic, with ICERT, and as Kona, you always want to do your best to continue and to finish, but I couldn't make any progress without significant pain, so unfortunately I had to pull the pin there. Yeah, of course it's a difficult thing with injury. If this wasn't a World Championship, I wouldn't have felt the pressure to perhaps even start the race. I knew I was pushing the limits with my preparation coming here, and even though I'd been able to train for 3 weeks without pain, the load of the race of course, is much more significant than a training run here or there. So that's why I felt it again on race day. So of course I felt the pressure to race because it was a world championship, but in a sense, it definitely wasn't worth continuing with the race in so much pain. At that point, you kind of have to put, you know, your maybe ego, maybe it's not ego, maybe it's willpower. Kind of have to put it in the drawer and close it. And you know, it's sport. There's always more opportunities. You know, this race is here at the same time next year. There's triathlons and Ironman. You can race triathlon anywhere in the world at any time of the year. So yeah, it's obviously a tough decision to have to pull out of a race, but for the longevity of your own body and your mind, you know, your mind is the most powerful thing you have as an athlete. If you're constantly trying to train through injury and train through pain, you're probably going to find yourself the next season sick of the sport, because there is no enjoyment, because there's, you know, this injury is not going away. As a professional, I have to be mindful that this is my job as well. But you know, a lot of amateurs out there, you do it because it's such a good release and so pleasuresome that, you know, you shouldn't actually risk those good feelings by trying to push through injury as well. You know, the body is made to heal. So, you know, maybe take up a hobby or do something you've been meaning to do for some time while you're injured, and you'll be back in no time.